Alright, Predators. It's plural, so you know it means business. This movie, the first time I saw the first trailer for it, I thought it was going to be terrible. Not a huge fan of Robert Rodriguez at all. I know he's only producing or whatever he is on this, but I know he had big control with this movie, and I was worried. But the second trailer actually impressed me, and so I was not sure what to think. A lot of people thought that Adrien Brody was a terrible casting choice. People seem to have something against Adrien Brody. I don't. I think he's a fantastic actor, and he's really good in this movie, despite the fact that he's doing a Batman voice. I think he did a solid job, and I think everybody did. This movie, I thought, was... The first 20 minutes, I thought, were okay, because it's just set up. I wasn't sure. The middle, I thought, was fantastic. And part of the last act, I thought, was really good. There's a great scene at the end with Topher Grace's character. Well, not at the end, but near the climax, with Topher Grace's character. After that scene, it goes downhill, and I thought the last 15 minutes just killed the movie for me. Because the action is... If you're going to shoot a action scene at night, make sure the lighting is good. That's the biggest... Because, look, I'm not trying to give anything away, but there's a fight in this movie where it's very difficult to tell who's whom. And unless you show their face, you don't know. So you don't know who to root for, and that takes you right out of the movie, where in a movie you're supposed to root for the protagonist, and when you don't know if the protagonist is winning or losing, it's hard to root for anybody. I'll give you two great examples of action scenes shot at night that were really well shot. One is the Hurt Locker, and two, is this night scene in The Dark Knight when he's first on the Batpod. Great shot because it's perfectly lit. The lighting in this movie, at the very end, I thought was really bad. Hard to tell who was who. And what surprised me, and I didn't think this would happen at all, is that the reason the middle, I thought, worked so fantastic was because of the fact that it worked much better as a horror/thriller than it did as an action movie. Because there's some really, really intense stuff here. This guy, Nimrod something, and I'm serious, that's his name, Nimrod, really knows how to create an atmosphere, and he knows how to set up tension. But a lot of time, once they get into the last 15 minutes, it's just your typical action movie, and it doesn't give anything new. I've seen the original Predator. It's a fun movie. It's nothing, amazing, but it's a lot of fun because it has Arnold, and it has great characters in that movie. This movie, I think, I like the characters a lot. I like the backstory that they gave pretty much every character. I was actually surprised about how good the character development was. But Lawrence Fishburne's in this movie. No reason for him to be in it at all. He was a pointless character. People will argue, but I would keep going, but I really can't explain without giving something away. But he should not have been in this movie. And look, I know that the guy was Morpheus, and kill me, but I haven't seen The Matrix, and I know he's a badass in that, but when I think of badass, I don't think of Lawrence Fishburne, even today, because, I'm sorry, Lawrence Fishburne got fat, and I don't think of him as some sort of dude who survives, some sort of really awesome badass. I think, he should be playing grandpas at this point, and that sounds sacrilegious to some people, but he should. I could see somebody like Liam Neeson in this role, nobody. It should have been nobody, because the role shouldn't have existed at all. I like the characters, and I love the middle, but the last 15 minutes just was so flawed, so dull, the action was just so typical, and it was bad, really. The action was not very good. There were some cool action scenes at the beginning, because they were well lit, and it took place in the daytime. And there's some huge plot holes in here that I can't give away, and it's too bad, because I thought, until the last 15 minutes, I was saying behind Kick-Ass, and behind Toy Story and Kick-Ass is probably my favorite movie of the year. Unfortunately, the last 15 minutes just killed its chances, and, I gotta give it a 6.5. It was probably gonna be a 9, but you gotta end strong. You have to end a movie strong. And when you're running a race, you don't cut out 15 minutes left. You keep going, and I think That really hurt this movie, because I thought it had so much potential. Some of the dialogue was bad, but that was mostly in the beginning, and it just, it bothers me, because it would have been a 9, but it just dropped the ball completely in those last 10 minutes, or 15 minutes, and like I said, it's too bad. So 6.5. All the performances are good, and this movie had everything to be a good movie about it. To be a great movie. It just didn't take that risk at the end that I thought it should have taken. And it should have had Arnold. I'm sorry, Arnold should have had some sort of cameo in there, and they set it up for a sequel. Put Arnold in it. That's all I'm saying. And I don't know, the original is a ton of fun. This movie was really not that fun, because the original's action was so great. This is, yeah. So 6.5. I know it probably seems like I'm ripping on it, but I did like it, just not a lot. I'll see you guys later. 6.5. Oh, and I saw Hot Tub Time Machine, too, on DVD. This is just a quick DVD review. Loved it, loved it, loved it. Third favorite movie of the year. 9.5 out of 10 for that. But 6.5 for Predators. And if they're going to make a sequel to this, what are they going to call it? Predators? There, 6.5. Woo!